Welcome. Today we want to talk about staying motivated in a challenging job market.
Yeah, we actually addressed this topic back when the pandemic was happening.
That's
So we're
right.
going to do it again.
And unfortunately, we're in another challenging market. So I think we need to start by just evaluating the employment climate based on some key factors. So, like employment trends, workplace trends,
Yeah.
technology influence, and also economic indicators and social or cultural indicators as well, because we're in a time of many changes.
But I think the point of today and creating this video for our audience is that knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you hit the panic button
Yeah.
and you think fear and the
Yeah.
worst case scenario. And so having knowledge is what we're hoping will give you today that will help calm you down a little bit and really give you some direction as to where you should be spending your time.
So and what actually deserves maybe some worry and what doesn't. So first of all, job openings right now have remained pretty stable year over year since about 2023. We were higher in 2022, highest in recent memory in 2021 coming out of the pandemic, but it feels like things are worse. But if you look at the data in terms of job openings, we're relatively stable.
Right.
That said,
layoffs are
up a little bit,
high.
but they're a 1 year high. They're up 1.3% after last year. But I think the bigger concern here is for the government job cuts. They don't only affect people in GSA and government jobs. They affect contractors. They affect anybody who even sells to the government. So there's going to be a little bit of a trickle down. And then unemployment.
Right.
I love looking at this one because unemployment's at about 4.5%. It's relatively low. I mean, considering what we've seen in the history of the US and what we see in other countries. But again, the process of eliminating jobs in the government leads to the concern that my company sells to the government or we contract with the government. Am I going to be also laid off? And then the last one is
AI.
AI for sure. AI for sure. Like, is that going to replace me?
Right.
And then DEI.
Right.
If you are someone who might have had just a little bit of an edge, and let's be honest here, women, which is the demographic we work, we don't need an edge to get in.
Right.
Where we really struggle is advancing. Right. So if we know that women, there's not going to be at least a spoken interest in bringing female candidates, especially into the fields where they're less represented, like finance and tech. That could be a concern for our population for sure.
Right. And so these are all valid concerns. And so just knowing and understanding that that's out there, there are a lot of truths of what is happening right now is one piece of it. But let's use this next half to really talk about.
Yeah. We don't want to just be Debbie Downers here.
Exactly. Yes. So even in the worst days, even when everything has gone really bad, a minimum of 95% of the U.S. population is employed. And so that's really important to tuck in your back
pocket. If you think about it that way, if you're on a job search right now, there's a 95% chance you're going to land. Those are pretty high odds.
Yes.
And then if you watch any of our other material or content, or listen to any of it, you're going to see there are lots of different ways that you can enhance and improve your likelihood of being in that 95% by doing your job search right.
Yes. And also new businesses are opening and thriving. There's a real entrepreneurial push, right?
Yeah. I mean, so some of the new businesses are at a high, I think it's a 10-year high, but what's really interesting is who's driving it.
Yeah.
It's women. Women are opening businesses at a much higher rate than in history and at a higher rate than men. And then there's just the anecdotes.
Right.
You need to seek out the people who are landing jobs because they're out there. Yes. We had just last week, it was like all in one day.
Yes.
We had three students, graduates of our program land. Heather had a 24-year career break that she was coming out of. Ashley had a 14-year, and I think Janice's was 22.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the longer end of a career break. All three of them successful. Heather entering healthcare foundation operations at a senior program level. Ashley getting back into management level in tech, which is a little harder, and Janice in finance. So knowing so these are the things that keep us going. Yes. We know that this works.
Yes.
So you, as someone who's seeking work, need to surround yourselves with people who are succeeding. Do you want to talk a little bit about combating and compiling?
Well, I think that if we put people around us that are going to focus on the negative, you're already going to default to the negative just because we are fight or flight beings and we are looking to protect ourselves at all times. Right. So you're going to fight against that in your own brain. So really the people that you're putting around you, we're not saying put people around you with rose-colored glasses on. We're saying, look where things are going well. Look at people around you and meet with them. So for example, these 3 students that we just talked to you about, it would be great for them to come on to maybe even our graduate call and share with people. So if there's someone in your orbit that has been successful, a way of getting yourself motivated and feeling inspired is to maybe make a coffee with them or go for a walk for them with them and see, well, what did you do and how did you make this happen? And get some really valuable data that could help you in your own job search.
And likewise, just pull yourself away from the people who are staying in the negative. I mean, I find right now, because the news cycle can be so negative,
you have to,
I'm almost titrating my news consumptions because I don't want it to get in my head so much. There's so many good things happening.
Yes.
We have a very stable workforce, and from a global perspective, a very stable economy, and being around people who are kind of living in that glass half full space as opposed to glass half empty will feed your positivity. And as a result, you will present better when you're out marketing yourself to the world.
Well, if we expend our energy towards the negative, then when you do show up to network with someone or interview for a job, you are a depleted, exhausted version of yourself. And that is going to show. And you don't want to do that. You want to be on your A game. You want to be at your best. And so who you are putting around you, what you are feeding yourselves in the media, that is all going to play a factor in who you show up as when it comes to the job seeking and landing of a job.
So to stay focused, stay motivated. We're going to focus on the positive things. Look for those glass half full people, find the success stories, and network.
Yes.
And if you need help networking, we have a lot of content out there with specific strategies and tools you can use to improve your networking game. So look those up as well.
So there you have it. If you like what you heard today, you can subscribe, and you can also find more about us and our programming at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.